In the US, almost 160 million tonnes of waste is generated each year. By comparison, a smaller country such as Australia only creates 32.5 million tonnes of waste per year. But when we break these figures down by population, we find that per capita, Australia creates around 620 kilograms of waste a year. The breakdown of the US figures show that they create just over 700 kilograms a year per capita. Looking at the figures in this way places Australia second highest in the world for waste generation, offering an alarming truth. But what exactly is this waste made up of, and what happens to it all once it's collected?
I guess waste is those materials and those substances that once we've made something or we've used something, we no longer have a use for. So we just throw them away and forget about them. In Victoria, we actually classify waste into 3 strands. One is commercial and industrial waste, so that's going to come out of your manufacturing plants. We then have municipal waste, which is the waste that comes out of a household. And then we have construction and demolition waste, which is really because so much does come through that area, and that's when you demolish buildings at the end of the day, or the waste that's created when something is being constructed even.
Experience has now shown that there is no completely safe method of waste disposal. All forms of waste disposal have negative impacts on the environment, public health and local economies. Landfills have contaminated drinking water. Garbage burned in incinerators has poisoned air, soil and water. Attempts to manage, store or dispose of wastes after they are produced fail to eliminate environmental impacts.
Some of the main problems that are caused with waste are toxicity. So what do we do with things that are toxic when we're finished with them? Are we going to put them into landfill and let there be leachate into the surrounding areas? Do we put them into our recycling bin? What happens then? So first one is toxicity. One of the other problems is simply the amount of waste, because we have to deal with waste. We either have to put it into landfill, which is a hole in the ground, or we have to decide that there's another use for it, which means that it has to be transported somewhere, sorted and have something done to it to put it back into a recycling stream. So there's the thing about space. A lot of waste is avoidable, and if we're not avoiding it, the question remains, what do we do with it? In Victoria, we're finding that the amount of waste that's being generated every year is still continuing to grow. And while we've been able to slow the growth, it's still growing. However, at the same time, we're recycling more. So we're getting really good at recycling, but we're just recycling more of a larger amount.